is Jackie, and I'm a primary caregiver for my 85-year-old mom who has Alzheimer's dementia. My caregiving role started suddenly and unexpectedly the day my dad died 7 years ago. My mom just went into a spiral. We thought she was going into complicated grief, but it turned out that it was Alzheimer's dementia. When my dad died, I took full responsibility of taking care of my mom. I had to just drop everything. My life as I knew it stopped. It ended that day, and it was all about what mom needed and how can I best take care of my mom in the moment. So there's not a lot of room for yourself. There's not a lot of room to think about your mental health. You just have to do what you have to do in the moment to take care of your loved one.
When caregivers come to us looking for support, they're often at a really critical place in their caregiver journey where they're on the brink of caregiver burnout and experiencing some mental health issues. When we see that, we delicately try to raise the conversation about how their mental health is for them. And sometimes it's a matter of really helping them understand that it's normal to experience these feelings, and it's normal for caregivers to get to the point where they're on the brink of an actual mental health crisis, like depression or anxiety.
I'm Samantha Peck, psychologist, clinical director at Psych Solutions. We're a clinic who offers support to caregivers who really want to do the best they can for their loved ones, but they're beginning to struggle in their role as a caregiver. Usually people will call in for support when they're feeling at their end or they're completely overwhelmed. They don't know even how they can continue with their role or wake up, and what they will say when they call in is, I'm too stressed out, I'm overwhelmed, I can't keep things straight. They don't know who they are, they become the role. Understandably, because the role requires oftentimes lots of minute tasks that have to be done on a daily basis that you can't just not do. But they legitimately can't carve out the time. People don't always realize they're grieving when they're actually stressing.
I think watching Alzheimer's take my mother away piece by piece has been the most brutal. There was anger, resentment, sadness, a whole gamut of feelings, and it was really hard to deal with. You need to be aware and recognizing yourself when the caregiver stress is getting to a point of caregiver burnout. You may not be thinking clearly, concentrating gets hard, you sleep less.
And there's tightness, there's difficulty breathing. I had one person just be like, it's always boom, 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 and it feels like it's out here. Other people talk about their head spinning. It's random, it's like metacognition, where they're thinking about their thinking or planning about their planning. It just never stops, and it's based on worry of really wanting to do the best.
You have to pay attention to whether or not you're eating. Just mustering up enough energy to get through the day sometimes is a challenge. And you still have someone who's depending on you out there. So when my mental health is waning, I know it comes out in my behavior. I'm a little bit more irritable, I'm less patient, less tolerant. I may not be on my best behavior, and I may not do things that I think highly of. It's quite uncanny, but my mother actually mirrors where I'm at in terms of my mood.
When a person's in a caregiving situation, their relationship with their care recipient it's synergistic. It's not just one way or another way. And so you can end up in a situation where you're playing off of each other's mental health and well-being and your state of mind. It's really important for the caregiver to take the lead on setting the tone by watching how their moods and their mental health impact their care recipient. And in lots of cases, with the right help, they can actually start to offer up a different way of talking or interacting that creates quite a bit of peace and calm in the relationship.
When I'm in a good mood, I'm able to be playful and jovial, and we have fun, we laugh, and we're able to love on each other and appreciate each other. But that takes energy. It really does. I can't be on all the time, and I have to be okay with that. When I'm a little bit more irritable or cranky, Mom picks that up and she gets anxious, panicky, and herself gets cranky, and then our interactions aren't the most constructive. And then the guilt sets in again.
In the caregiver role, oftentimes there can be guilt about, I think I should be doing more, I'm not doing good enough, guilt about decisions made, not made, guilt about wanting to take time for yourself, missing how you used to live your life, guilt about wishing it wasn't this way right now.
The guilt that a normal person would feel leaving their care recipient behind to go to work, go see a friend, do something that they like doing like a hobby, they're just drowning in guilt. It's really easy to ruminate on the things that are upsetting.
So sometimes caregivers will express this lack of hope that is really sitting on their minds. It's just hard to know what to do with it. Sometimes it's just somebody else understanding that's exactly where you're at and not trying to make you feel better. Often there's great value in just sitting in the mud with somebody and not feeling like they should be better, they should be happier, they should be doing something different. They're allowed to be in this place of lack of hope because that's where they're at. That feeling understood there, ironically, in an interesting way, can just give a bit of hope that at least somebody is going to understand me.
Caregivers need to recognize that if they are experiencing mental health issues, it's not inevitable. You can actually do some things easy things, to make a difference to your mental health and well-being and the sustainability of your caregiving journey. One of the things that we like to help people focus on is the idea of a fixed versus a growth mindset. We try to help caregivers take a look at how they're thinking about things and maybe even reframe that so that it can move them into a place where they can actually see a way forward instead of feeling stuck.
Self-awareness is a main role in identifying where you're at in terms of your mental health. I learned that I had to turn inwards. I really had to learn who I was and discover the things that I needed to do to keep myself going. For me, music is therapy. I listen to music every opportunity I have, and it just brings me to a better place. A real go-to for me has been journaling. Being able to express my thoughts and my feelings in writing, or it could be scribbling, drawing, whatever, coloring, but get it out because it's just too much to carry around with you. A lot of this is easier said than done, but very important. I think it's important for you to have realistic expectations for yourself. Don't expect yourself to be perfect because nobody is. Give yourself some grace.
It's easy to tell a caregiver that they need to rebalance and that they need to shift their mindset. But what does that actually mean? And it literally is simple. It can be as small as when you start to find yourself feeling like you just are around your care recipient way too much, taking a walk. If you're experiencing some conflict, not engaging, taking a step back, giving yourself some space so that you can respond a little bit more emotionally intelligently. Making sure that you have people around you that understand. And sometimes that's not your friends or family members. Sometimes you need other caregivers in your life to truly vent and to truly learn and to truly figure out how to find better balance. 1 million people in Alberta are caregivers, and yet when we look at the small percentage of them that are actually seeking help as caregivers that have identified that they need help, it's small. So making that leap then to identifying mental health issues as a caregiver doesn't happen. It's really important that we generate awareness around caregiving and the mental health challenges that can come with it so that people know that there's a way forward and they don't stay stuck where they are.